Hi, I'm Eric Ford for Made Here. In 1992, director Thomas Hogeboom from Hardwick, Vermont, shot north at Katahdin on the Appalachian Trail with a film camera, unveiling the mountains, wildlife, and natural beauty of the 2,100-mile footpath across 14 states. In the film, we hear from 7 thru hikers who experience moments of ultimate challenge, transcendent beauty, high triumph, and quiet reflection. This presentation features a brand new high-def transfer of the film made just for Made Here. You can watch North at Katahdin and many other Made Here stories about the region streaming on vermontpbs.org and through the PBS app. Enjoy the film, and thanks for watching.
There's some drive in there that says, get out there. You can't stay cooped up all the time.
At times I felt that I was just another animal in the forest, that I belonged here.
I could say it's joy, depression, happiness, laughter, pain, hunger, hurt. I could say it's all of these, but it's really that and more.
The whole thing is just an ultimate challenge.
The challenges are enormous, and it's more than just climbing mountain after mountain. The challenges of planning properly, keeping warm, keeping yourself fueled.
Standing on top of Springer Mountain and looking at the trail and thinking of it as being a 2,100 plus mile long straight line is about the time that the mental preparedness hit me, and I realized the challenge that was ahead of me. I'm thinking about Katahdin as I leave Springer. I don't think you can ever get Katahdin out of your mind. It's where you're going. I'm not trying to imagine what it's going to be like climbing up Katahdin and seeing that sign on top of the summit. But I'm not going to let that vision or that thought leave my mind. I'm going to tuck it away in the back. I'm going to concentrate on today and the goal that I have set for today, and then get up and concentrate about tomorrow. And day after day, I'll be one step closer to Katahdin, and hopefully it will sneak up and surprise me. You know, I was looking to get out there and get away and relax a little bit, but I found out that there was more stress. Not as much as daily life, but there was a lot of stress out there, a lot more than I was counting on.
I really think Thoreau was right to advocate a simple existence, because it's hard to feel an inner peace unless you free yourself from all the nitpicking details that clutter your mind, especially in today's society. The trail took me right back to an era where people walked if they wanted to get anywhere. They cooked over wood fires and maybe tolerated a little more dirt under their fingernails. After a long day of climbing and descending a number of mountains, it's usually not much of a problem finding a place to sleep. You either set up your tent or you aim towards one of the trailside shelters. I always liked the shelters because I knew I would have a roof over my head and maybe a feeling of security. And it's also a good place to meet other hikers.
The trail has shown me that I am a person of great strength, of great capability, that I have a lot more inner strength than I ever dreamed possible. And I don't need other things around me to feel good. I don't need to have a drink. I don't need to take drugs. I don't need any crutches, because all my positive feelings are coming from within myself. I rely on myself. It's just me. I'm the one who can make the miles. I'm the one who can put one foot in front of the other. And I'm the only one that's going to get me to Katahdin.
There is no way I can put into words what it's like to sweat and ache in climbing up a mountain, and then to reach the summit, to reach the peak, and to have a view overlooking where you've been in the last 5 days and where you're going in the next 3 days, and to take that all in. The trail is a unique opportunity for someone to find out just what their limitations are. How far can they walk? How much weight can they carry? How much aloneness can they tolerate? How close can they be to other people? There are so many ways to look at the trail. Its beauty and its rewards. But maybe more than anything else, the AT can be defined by the people you meet along the way. Without them, the Appalachian Trail would hardly be worth walking.
You've got people all shapes and sizes. You've got people with a variety of backgrounds, from high school dropouts to PhDs. And I really enjoyed getting to know the variety of personalities. There's always a bond among a group of people, I think, whenever you share a common experience. And when you share something as extensive as hiking the trail, where you're experiencing similar ups and downs, pitfalls, successes, failures, emotions, it brings you that much closer. I was just so happy to have a fellow buddy to share a few words with, exchange some memories with. Since I walk at a slightly different pace than anyone else, I inevitably find myself alone at times. Being alone takes a lot of courage, I think. I was afraid of being by myself more than afraid of people or animals hurting me. And I think that the value of that solitude And the time that I had alone on the trail certainly helped me to look inward and change some things I didn't like about myself so that I could enjoy being by myself. I spent so much time just listening to nature sounds. It has made me a better listener. I think it's important to get out into the wilderness because we so often take our identities from what we do and not who we are. We often lose sight of who we are in our day-to-day. And you need to remove yourself from the stresses of the day-to-day. Look inward and remind yourself of who you are, what your values are, where your priorities lie, and to begin leading your life once again by those set of values. And I think that going out into the wilderness is one way that you can refocus.
And there were periods when the bugs were very, very bad. They get in your eyes, they buzz around your head, and there's no protection whatsoever going to cure you. Bug repellent just doesn't help. You wipe them off, you blow them away, you hit at them, and you just keep going. I'm always asked, what did you eat on this trip? And I always answer them, everything I could possibly get into my mouth. So basically, you eat all the time. Every minute of your waking hours is spent thinking about when you're going to eat and how much you're going to eat. Your body uses about 7,000 calories a day, and there's no way you can replace that. Journal writing was a big part of our trip, and I tried to put in my journal not so much what I ate or what time I slept or when I got up, but more of what I felt each day. It could have been either something in nature that struck me as being beautiful, or it could have been something physical. There were certain days, in my experience, that were harder than others. But there was not one, what I call, gimme day on the entire trail. You work for every mile that you put behind you, and you work for every mountain and every down and every up that you do, you work for. And I wondered, looking at those small roots projecting on the side of the rocks, how many people they assisted in people getting over these certain rocks. And they seem to always be there when you need one. There was always a hole or a rock or a root to grab onto to help you to get to the top. I remember going to a lot of the summits and then not really realizing on the climb up to the top what might be there for you to view. But then when you got to the tops of each climb and you looked around and you realized what was below you, it was really breathtaking. I read a lot of stories about the weather on the trail. And I think when you fear, not so much for your life, but for an accident that might befall you, you learned how to adjust and how to make do on your own without the assurance of others around that all would be well. But fear is not something that really you carry with you. You're more cautious than you are anything else. And to fall and hurt yourself would just be unthinkable, so you just keep going.
I remember as a kid watching television, old cowboy shows, and wondering why these cowboys made such a big deal about going to the saloon and getting a bath until you're so dirty that you smell yourself. Just taking your shoes off just about knocks you on your back. When you finally do get to a shower, you find yourself, instead of the usual 5-minute shower, you're in there for 45 minutes. There's just something about the trail, just the length of it, I guess. You know, the number of states it traverses. Maybe it's the mystery about the Appalachian Trail. What's behind each bend? How does one state differ from the other states? You know, each state has got its special little high point. Plus, a lot of it is the trail itself, getting out there in the mountains, away from it all, as everyone says. I don't know if you're getting away from it all or out to it all. You aren't running from something, you're getting out there to experience something. When you're out in the woods and been away for 4 or 5 days, you really feel a draw towards civilization. Because where there's civilization, there's an abundance of food and showers and everything you've been missing. You need a balance of each, I think. A little bit of civilization and a little bit of trail. Neither one nor the other by itself seems to do it. I think 10 days in the woods and 1 day in town is about the balance I need. There's something inside you that kind of draws you out into the woods and into the mountains. You really feel you're seeking something out, which is, the mountains, the open spaces, the lack of 4 confining walls, the wildlife. When I first saw Katahdin, I just wanted to get there. It didn't matter what I had to go through. But then as I neared Katahdin, I wanted everything to slow down because I realized 2,000 miles behind me. I'd have to go back home, go back to work, an 8-hour day with 4 walls around me. No more birds singing, just the hum of machinery at work.
Being with my friends that had become to mean so much to me, making that final climb was very emotional, knowing that we'd be parting soon, knowing that we'd always have this shared experience with one another, but knowing that we were going to be very soon thereafter going off in our own directions.
When you're climbing Mount Katahdin and finishing the trail, I don't think the actual finishing of the trail really hits you because the mountain itself is so unique. You haven't climbed anything like it on the entire trip, and you're just so overwhelmed by the beauty of the mountain that it doesn't dawn on you that this is the end.
I think that my sense of what success and failure is has changed a great deal. When I hiked the AT, I was very much summit-oriented, Katahdin-oriented. And in hindsight, what I've discovered for myself is that getting to the summit no longer is as important to me as the process itself. It really was the process that had the most meaning in not reaching that end summit.
But I think the biggest change that came over me was the knowledge that I can tackle a job and complete it now. You realize that you are capable of doing almost anything you set out to do.
Vermont PBS, partnering with local filmmakers to bring you stories made here. For more, visit vermontpbs.org.